Weird Science
is the revolution.
Spider-Boy number 6, written by Dan Slott. Art by Paco Medina and Walden Wong on the Man Upstairs part, with colors by Eric Arciniega. Then you have, so you're now a humanimal. Art by, why not just say manimal, but I guess you can't say that. I get yelled at. So you're now a humanimal, art by Julian Shaw, with colors by Fair Cifuente Sujo, DC Joe Caramagna on letters. And this has been one of our favorite books, even despite everybody yelling at us that they don't like Dan Slott or that it's goofy, they don't need another spider character. I told you that this is one of those, we mentioned it last week, where the main story was 17 pages. I remember us counting, and then the backup was like 3. We got basically a regular-sized issue, but they're charging more because there's a backup. In this, there's not even that many. I don't know what they're doing.
There's a middle up now.
Yeah, well, this should be, it always should have been at least $3.99. You're going to get more people who buy it then. I thought that it might have been a good play. And the way that they're doing it now, make it $2.99 and actually entice people to give it a shot. And kids themselves getting it would be kind of cool. You know, but in this, it's another one of these issues that, you kind of go forward. But even at the beginning, you repeat. It's not, me and you were talking on the Slack chat that we talk on before. The idea, it's not recap, it's repeat. We saw Christina get thrown into this chamber. At that point, she yelled, "Oh no, not that," because they're going to turn her into an animal or a humanimal. And now we see that it was a pigeon. Me and you thought it was going to be something way worse.
Because it was like scritching and scratching.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And she's like, no, I don't want to turn into that.
They do that.
I mean, pigeons are rat with wings. I mean, they're awful.
I thought her reaction was a little over the top. Please, not that.
She's more upset here than she pops out of this thing because
she's happy
Bailey,
as can be.
Yeah, Bailey is like, oh, no, hell, I'll help her. All these other humanimals are grabbing her. I also like that we need to have the domed jar. It says pigeon, so we know. And in case, you might mix that up with, say, a snake. But she gets zapped into a pigeon. And she comes out, and she's still got her braids, right? She actually looks to me like older.
She's older, yeah. She's definitely older.
And she's like, it's okay, Spidey B. I don't think it worked. And then he's like, no, Chrissy, you're a pigeon. And she goes, whatever. Pigeon this, pigeon that. She actually thinks it's not a big deal. You'll save me. I'm like, I don't know. You've been around Bailey a lot.
Faith in the Spider-Boy's there. He's in shackles right now, being held by an ape man.
He's got an ape man on him, and he's in shackles, and they're just like, take her away, boys. And they take Pigeon Christine away. And so the big thing of this, though, is that Madame Monstrosity is trying to get Bailey to tell her how. Now, it's not even tell her how. It's at first, tell her how I forgot about you. And then once she figures that out, you twist and turn to the point where she wants to find what the big way that she made Spider-Boy, that seems to be the missing ticket to maybe make these animals back into humans. But she's the one who made them into animals, so I don't even know why she wants to. But then she set up a slave farm with animals, promising them if they worked for 13 years, they could be freed. I think it's a mess. It's kind of funny. I mean, then in this, just because we're not going to go forward with the story much, you're going to have Christina Pigeon watch a intro film of what it's like to be a humanimal.
And they got the intro. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a drink.
It's like I'm going to go get my brass knuckles. So you have that, and she's like watching, and basically it's like a couple jokes and gags, and hey, so you're a humanimal. Guess what? That's awesome. You get powers. You'll have to figure them out. You might have super strength. You might end up being a chameleon. You might even be able to grab a book from the top shelf with your tongue like a frog. And then they're like, okay, but what you're really going to do is you're going to work on this farm here for me and your slaves.
If you're a good cook, you're going to be a cook. You're going to be in the fields. You're going to be...
If you're an outdoorsy type. I actually
in the lab.
They play a game then where there's a horse, and it gets almost Animal Farm-esque. It's like Boxer. And he's like, I'm out of here. I'm a horseman, and I'm heading back to town. I thought the play could have been, oh, you can go back into town. They're like, we can't go back. Like, see somebody being run out of town with pitchforks and torches. But she kills him.
Yeah, up to this point, everything seemed cheery and hopeful. And then that she's like, oh, sure, you can leave. And then he just gets chopped up.
I just thought it'd be the better play is like, yeah, you could leave, but nobody's going to accept you. You're going to come back.
Yeah, good luck, horseman.
And when they say the one, I guess it's like a big giant ox, is like, we're real far away from any other. That's where I thought that's why. You don't want to get near anybody when you're monstrosities of humanimals. But this horse is like, and of course the horse, he goes through into the recycling door and then he yells and she destroys him. And then the joke is, I don't want to beat a dead. Oh, I don't want to go that far.
Well, it's also interesting that she acts like you choose to be a humanimal. It's like she kind of kidnaps you and makes you.
There's a weird play. Like, and the idea of.
Maybe it used to be like this. Maybe that's how it was.
Here's the thing. I mean, I get it's not played out well, but the concept is still. She wants to get, it's not the humanimals that she's not trying to be, oh, I'm going to have an army of these humanimals. She is trying to be able to go back because that's what, her big.
The high evolutionary. She's trying to.
The high evolutionary wanted to have something that you can evolve them, de-evolve them, evolve them. And Spider-Boy was the one. I think you kind of miss out on that here. Like you kind of, and now we've been reading it, we know, but this idea of, evil. I wish that they would show until the end when she's like, oh, my love. And she's like making out almost with an owl. But you end up where you do even see this guy here. And I like at one point, his joke is, here's my, lovely husband. Who? And he turns around because that's his owl joke. But then you have that owl with, it's well,
because she's selling it like she reversed it and he's back to human, but he's not. He's stuck in the owl.
Yeah, and you have both are separate. You have that at the end. But at the end of the movie, it's weird because everybody's gone. She watches the movie. It's like, oh, where's everybody?
It must have been a great movie. She just wasn't even paying attention to people leaving.
It's so great, right? Yeah, she was enthralled. And she just kind of wanders out later to the fields. And it's basically, you're going to get pages or at least a page of, okay, here's the deal. If you end up where you work this amount of time, you'll get a name because they're calling by number, but then she says her name, but then they don't. And then if you work this much more, you get to do this. And then in 13 years, you can actually be turned back to human again. I mean, it's a weird play because also we know that at this moment can't happen anyway, but they're just kind of like hanging. She's like, I don't mind. Spider-Boy will save me. He made it out of here. And then you have what? Spider-Boy, and I think that might be a kangaroo. Yeah, it is. Why is it kangaroo? Where'd they get a kangaroo? Man, that's a myth. We heard about that story. That's ridiculous. Nobody ever made it out of here. But then we see Bailey trying to fight his way out. He's fighting, grasshoppers, and he's fighting a mouse with the big giant shotgun now, and the ape. And he's trying to get out. But the big thing here is that, they have Christina, but they have more. We already kind of guessed that the mom was the cat, Tabby. Yeah. And this is where Spider-Boy, and I think you lose a little in translation because then she starts yelling, oh, what is it? Why can't I remember you? He's like, I know something you don't. And she says, tell me. And he's like, oh, I get it. That's why you set this up. And then she just kind of reveals, no, it's not. Like, really, Christina was just to get him there. But I wish they would have just let her go. They didn't have to turn her into
I know, it's pretty bad.
A stupid deal. Like, it really is nothing towards anything of getting turned into a thing. Because by this, the whole play is your mom's a cat. She doesn't remember you. You know how they don't remember. It seems that that's a thing, Bailey. Either he's lying or it is a thing that he does know why. We didn't think he did. But if he can reveal that to her, she might then be able to remember him, reverse it. I don't get it. It's a little bit down the line of this, it's the only way your mom will be able to remember you and possibly turn back.
Yeah, so basically you're right. The mom doesn't remember him. So now he has to give his whole story so that the mom will remember him, which is the most important thing to him.
And it is down the line because in that, I still don't think he wants to be remembered by Cat Mom. I think he wants Mom to be Mom, but...
Yeah. He'll take it, whatever he can get, I guess.
Just talking about remembering, then we think that Madame Monstrosity, once she'll be able to work the magic again, she'll remember what she did. But again, I mean, you look at Bailey, even at this, he's in his monster mode with his costume on. He's not exactly normal. So what do these things end up as? But it's a little, like I said, it's a little stretched out and like weird.
He doesn't
way
even
it's presented.
He doesn't even fit in with the other humanimals because he looks like more humanoid and has like a regular face.
Again, is that she was able to perfect that? But in the meantime, the mom's hanging out with Boy Spider.
I know, she's all over him.
Who's the awful? But when Bailey is in beast mode, he just looks like Boy Spider. Yeah, he has like the things out his, but he doesn't look that crazy. And the mom's looking at a kid in a costume and. Yeah,
the same costume.
I don't know who you are. Get out of here. But he does agree. He says, "You win." This issue is a little wonky, and then you end up. I'm telling. The ideas are there, and they're kind of coming together from what we saw, but they're coming together in weird ways that don't quite click because he's not giving you the right information. I think because again, the whole thing is remembering. It's not changing yet, but you kind of think that it has to be. But then there's also Christina. So she's happy. She thinks he's going to save her. And then we don't know what's going on because now Bailey's just getting tortured to get the things going. And she ends up it's like, it's time to, punch the time clock and get out of here. And goes, and this is the big reveal that the husband that she says I can change back and forth, that's the big thing. She can't. Mm-mm. The humanoid version who looks like Owlsley, he's more the owl, and the owl itself is more, but they're two separate entities. And even then, I had to kind of sit there and think, oh, I see what's going on. Like, it wasn't like, oh, God, right away. It was kind of weird and wonky by the end.
Did he change into an owl because he looks like an owl? I mean, he's destined to be an owl.
Well, I guess. But I think they were, she tried to separate them to make her back to the husband, and then you got the separate versions of two.
So you don't think that's what he looked like before?
I think that maybe it was a little bit, but I think that, the deal. Again, though, the only way to do it is to put an owl in that stupid chamber. So if she did it, she's like, you already look like an owl. Let's go with it.
Right on the nose.
You know what I mean? It's not like all of a sudden I get thrown in there and I somehow look like an alligator, but they throw a mouse in and I become an alligator. I don't know, but he's eating, the humanoid version of it is eating a mouse while he's, the butler mouse is looking very terrifying. But he had a shotgun earlier, so he can handle himself.
Don't mess with him.
Yeah, that guy's
His name
tough.
is Squeakerton. That guy.
Yeah, Squeakerton. At one point, I think I thought Squeakerton was the dad. But, and it would be funny, the mouse and the cat, they're always fighting, those two. We're at issue 6. We're done a trade or maybe a trade plus one. And it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the story's going very far. I still like Bailey, but I kind of wish that this was more. I wanted Madame Monstrosity, but I didn't think it was to be convoluted between the idea of turning you into an animal, but then I can't unturn you from an animal. But I tried it. It didn't work. Now I need Spider-Boy to do that because he was the one I did it to, but I don't remember that. So I need to remember that. But then there's the mom. There's too much going on for a book that should be just, just fun, all ages stuff. You should be coming in. They should be fighting different crazy animals and then get out of there. You still have his buddy there that he's going to want to, change back. I don't know. But what would you give this?
I'm still on board. I'm a Spidey Boy fan. I'm going to go with a 7.5 on this one.
Yeah, I'm a 5.5. I didn't really like it at all. The art's pretty cool, but it's just nothing. I mean, we're getting a film strip, and I'm telling you, the story has gotten so convoluted with this weird idea of splicing and back and forth evolving that it's kind of losing its way. But we'll see. You could get out of it very quick. Bailey can remember. But again, is the character less of a character if everybody remembers him then? Or will it just be Madame Monstrosity remembers? She may not find out anything. Maybe he'll trick her, but we'll have to see.
Weird science is the revolution.